Good evening, everyone, from Nashville. It's Monday, February 22nd. I'm Charles Brown, Portfolio Manager with CB3 Financial. We're glad you're with us for this edition of CB3 Live, also known as the Monday Market Mashup. Long day at the trade desk. You can tell my tie is loose. Big sell-off here, but this looked like an exhaustion sell-off to me. The S&P's been down 5 days in a row. And it's not usual to have that kind of repeated downturn. And after all, we are at market highs, at least we were until this downturn. So some consolidation, profit taking is to be expected, not at all concerned. For those of you that are new listeners, please check us out. You're probably there on YouTube right now, unless you've seen this on Facebook. But do subscribe to us and click the little bell so that you get updated when we go live. Normally we're live on Thursday nights, although occasionally on other nights as well. Okay, also follow us on Twitter. I tweet every single day, sometimes more than once a day. Also on Facebook and LinkedIn. Okay, in Corona America, the vaccine rollout expands. That's a great thing. We'll have more on this Thursday night. Generally, my Monday show here is just to prep you for what's going to happen on the much more in-depth Thursday show. And stellar earnings season just continues to roll on. It's real good news there. Corona America, what is happening here? 40% drop in the number of cases. I've been reporting this on the Thursday show. The data continues to roll in every few days or so, and this is an update from last Thursday. Everything's moving in the right direction. I had about a month ago predicted that mid-January was going to be the peak, and that certainly is looking like the case. As far as the total doses distributed, look at this, 75 million, which is about 13 and change percent of the United States. That's going to be ramped up considerably over the next 3 months, so that at least the Biden administration is predicting that it could be as much as 75% of the population by the end of the summer. I think that's doable, actually, and that's pretty good news. In the U.S. economy, the Russell continues to be the shiner, although it's down a little bit from the last time I saw you, up 14% for the year. NASDAQ 5, S&P 3.2, Dow 3. Dow's making a little bit of a headroom there, but they're all getting dwarfed by the small caps. If you remember, I talk about the secular bull market and how each of the asset classes needs to appear strong at some point during this, or else the secular bull falls apart. All asset classes, even eventually all sectors, have to be strong, although some of them, certainly like utilities and real estate staples, are never going to be able to compete in a bull market with the discretionaries, communication sector, and technology. But we like these numbers. Just to look back in time, this is the second best bull market ranking, at least coming off a low, since all the way back in 1932. This is a new slide. You haven't seen this. So if this continues, this could be the biggest reactionary bull of all time. Reactionary meaning in the early stages of it. So remember, we were in a bull market for quite some time, and then we went to a bear market for 5 weeks, and then it essentially became a bull market again with the low that hit on March 23rd, So this is good data. The S&P has gained 75% since that March 23rd low of last year, dwarfing all previous bull markets, which I just showed you, since the 1930s. And the cycle is pretty young here, so this is just catapulted off to a great start. And we're not even a full year into this bull market. So I think that's boding well for the future prospects, which is the news I've been giving you since I've been doing these. The small cap sector, or small cap asset class, basically is continuing to see individual as well as institutional buying just piling into smaller companies. We had a rebalancing even just today in CG and in SG, where we continue to add small cap exposure, both in individual stocks and in SG, also in IWM, which is the ETF for small cap companies. If you look here and look at the difference between the Russell and the S&P, it's not looked pretty for the Russell until this quarter. All right, the Russell just really pulling out ahead of the S&P. We'll see how long it lasts. It doesn't tend to go on for very long. You can see the green bars here, but this is a pretty powerful one. You have to go back 20 years before the small cap has really just jetted out in front of the S&P at the beginning of a bull market. Again, a good sign though. On the economy, Midwest labor market. So we're looking at Columbus, Ohio, and other cities in what we used to call the Rust Belt have among the nation's lowest unemployment numbers. Now, this is, many, many months into this pandemic, and I think that's a positive because many of these Midwestern areas lost a lot of jobs, but those jobs have come back, and their lowest unemployment rates in the country are to be found in the Rust Belt. Leading economic indicator, so for January, marked the 9th consecutive monthly increase. And this is a positive, they call it leading economic index, okay, LEI. And the takeaway is that basically 7 of 10 indicators are positive. That's well over 50%. The numbers are just continuing to be strong, if not magnificent. But again, we're just coming out, not even one full year into this pandemic. So I'm encouraged by that. In the crypto corner, Tesla just kind of steals the air out from under everybody here because they actually reported today that if you guys have been following my show, that they bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin over the last 10 days or so, and now they're actually on a trajectory if Bitcoin keeps growing, which it did not today. The market, the stock market and the crypto market really both got whacked today. But if trends continue, Tesla actually could make more money from their Bitcoin investment than from their EV cars. Now, that seems incredulous, but anyway, I think it's pretty interesting. So one of the quotes from this Wedbush research that I follow here is they expect less than 5% of public companies will head down the road until more regulatory information and goalposts, as they call it, are put in place. But that we even have Tesla, MasterCard, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, all these names that I've announced over the last few weeks heading into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Guys, that's a positive for asset diversification, okay? This week's words of wisdom: when half the people get the idea that they don't have to work because the other half is going to take care of them, and when that other half gets the idea that it does no good to work because somebody else is going to get what they work for, that's the beginning of the tragic end of any nation. Beware the freeloaders. This was said 150 years ago, guys, not something in the current news. And I think it's a warning well worth heeding. Okay, if you guys missed my show last Thursday night, please go to the site, YouTube channel. You guys have that address. If not, you'll find it. But my interview with Susan Thetford was just awesome. We covered all aspects of real estate here in Nashville, in the Midwest, also on the coast, why people are leaving the coast and coming south, coming west. Just a really interesting and insightful interview. Hope you guys will go back. If you missed that or you want to see it again, it's up on the site now, okay? For this Thursday night, the vaccine machine continues. Really positive news there. And as I mentioned earlier, maybe 75% of the country will be vaccinated by the end of the summer. And the earnings, okay, I'm in my rhyming mode here. The earnings just continue to impress and be higher than expected, really. And I'll get into more detail on that Thursday night. So be sure, again, that you recommend us to your friends and your family. Subscribe on YouTube. Be sure to click the button, and you'll get the little updates there on the bell. So thank you guys for being here. It's the Monday night mashup. Thursday night, we'll have a lot of good information for you, and hope that you'll, again, bring your friends and family there. Just always want to remind you that at CB3 Financial Group, we don't just manage your assets, we become one of them. From COVID to U.S. politics to the world economic scene to clarity. This is CB3 Live and the Monday Market Mashup. Take care, guys.